Even in pitch darkness there is a ray of light somewhere. Thus, in the dark surroundings of disbelief, there is in some corner a spark of faith and belief. In the midst of frightful, strong people, sometimes a weakling manages to create panic in the hearts of disbelievers. This is a painful story of such a pious woman who willingly agreed to be plunged in a worldly fire with her infant children rather than risk punishment in the fire of the next world. This indeed is a lesson-bearing story. Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu has said that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "When I was taken towards the heavens, I got a very pleasant odor. I asked Jibreel about it and he said that it was the odor of the beautician of the daughter of Pharaoh and her children. I asked him to tell me more about it and he said, one day she was engaged in the routine task of beautifying the daughter of Pharaoh. When the comb fell down from her hands, while picking it up, she said Bismillaah in the name of Allah. Pharaoh's daughter asked her if she referred to her father when she called the name of Allah. She said, no, but your father's Lord is only Allah. The girl asked, shall I reveal what you say to Pharaoh? She replied that she may tell him if she liked. So she revealed it to her father, Pharaoh, who summoned the beautician and asked, do you have any other Lord besides me? She answered, yes, my and your Lord is Allah. Pharaoh had a fire kindled and a brass cow-shaped vessel was heated over it. When it was ready, very hot, he ordered that the woman and her children be plunged into it. She interjected, I have something to say. He said, after we are burned down, our bones, mine and the children, should be placed together in a cloth and buried in the earth. He agreed that he would do that. Pharaoh commanded that her children should be thrown into the fire first. So they were cast into it one by one, while she watched that until it was the turn of her last child, the newly born baby suckling its mother's milk. This made her sob a little. The infant suddenly spoke to her, saying, Mother, jump into this fire, for the punishment of this world is very minor compared to that of the next. Hence she jumped into the fire. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu then said, 4 newborn babies had spoken. Eesa ibn Maryam, the child who spoke in favor of Jurayj, Al-Abid, the child who spoke for Yoosuf. The story is narrated in the Quran in Surah Yoosuf. And the child of the beautician of Pharaoh's daughter. What is the lesson and message in this hadith? The first message is that the hadith give us, and it is also the basic message, is that faith is really to pass through trials. It is never perfected without trials. And a trial is always very severe and uphill. This is clear from the lives of earliest people and the Prophet ﷺ. In the present times, people are not put to trial bodily, and this is a favor of Allah on the Ummah of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. However, they face trial in a different way. The trial of this age is through a sinful and disobedient surrounding, and a believer is expected to come out of it obeying the commands of Allah and to be steadfast and determined. The truth is that very people have been subjected to trials and will be continued to be put to trial. The kind of trial varies with time. It is essential to broaden the thinking of the believers and to perfect them. In ancient times, rulers were given to persecute on religious grounds. It was very common for rulers to torment anyone to make them concur with them and submit in obedience. Innumerable people were put to death and torture. Muslims are discriminated against. The unbelievers throughout the world persecute Muslims because of their faith and belief, because they profess Islam. Muslims are given the worst kind of punishments. We can see clear examples in Bosnia, Kosovo, Chechnya, Kashmir, Palestine. The believers, when they came through trials, experience higher ranks and elevated stations. The hadith alludes to this in passing. The Holy Prophet ﷺ said, he got the sweet odor of this woman and her children during his marriage. Persecution is found even in present times. This is a respect the determined slave of Allah receive by sacrificing their lives in His path. It is proper not to disclose one's belief in Islam if that would mean unbearable persecution and untold problems for the believers. However, that is not the doing of a determined, strong-willed believer. An open confirmation of faith at such times sends a shudder down the spine of disbelief and sparkles the ray of faith. This hadith tells us that in all 4 babies newborn have spoken in their cradle. One of them was Sayyidina Eesa son of Sayyida Maryam whose life account is found in Surah Maryam in the Quran. The other is the one who spoke for Jurayj al-Abid. The third is the baby who made a supplication counter to its mothers. The 4th baby is the newborn of this story. Besides these, we also learn of 2 other newborn babies speaking intelligently. One of them is mentioned in Surah Yoosuf in the Quran, and he was the infant who testified to the truth of Sayyidina Yoosuf alayhi salam. The other is indicated in Surah Al-Buruj in the Quran concerning the Ashab al-Ukhdud, companions of the pit. The trial was over, the ordeal was passed through. The profession of faith was true, that is belief. This is what we call unity of Allah. Belief is to show courage and be strong. Remain steadfast, cease to fear and speak the truth. It is love, the love is belief, and without it one cannot practice the dictates of belief. Without love, religion is imagination. Share this video with everyone so everyone can seek guidance from this hadith.